Guys, Kevin here, and in this video I want to go over my experience with having a total knee replacement. I know there's a lot of people having them out there. It's very common surgery now, and I kind of want to go over what I experienced, where I'm at this point, starting from the day of the surgery up till week 3. All right, the first 3 weeks. I'm currently finishing up week 6, and I go for my 6-week follow-up tomorrow. But this video right now, I'm just going to talk about the surgery itself and the first 3 weeks and what you're kind of looking at. At the end, I will I will show you all the exercises that they had me do for those 3 weeks. So on August 8th, I had a full knee replacement on my left knee. Both knees are both bad. My right knee is scheduled for November 28th, but I started with my left because that one was worn worse. So I went in, and prior to the surgery, you have to make sure you have a walker that you have to take to the surgery center with you. If not, you'll get it. I mean, when you go to your pre-op appointment, they'll give you whatever you need. But you have to have a walker. I thought I had a walker. I was going to use the walker that my mother-in-law had used, and it has the 4 wheels and the handbrakes. You cannot use those walkers. They're too much of a risk for falling or slipping or the thing getting away from you. So you need to use a walker that's got the legs on the back and the wheels on the front. I didn't have one of those. So when I went to the surgery center and went to take on my walker, they said you can't use that. And all they had was the one with 4 legs, no wheels. So that's what I ended up having to use. So what happened is, going to surgery, gave me the nerve block and all. I went into surgery at, I think, about 3:30. Went in, got home about 6:30. The surgery was about an hour and a half. And as soon as you wake up out of surgery, they have you, before you can go home, and this was outpatient, I didn't stay at the hospital at all, you have to get up, you have to walk with the walker to the bathroom, you have to urinate, not a couple drops, but a full stream, and you have to have your pain under control. You shouldn't be in so much pain that it's unbearable. So once I got up to walk to the bathroom, I immediately noticed a difference, immediately. The knee felt solid, and with each step there was no more of that grinding of the bones, that crunching type feeling. Totally gone. Right off the bat, I knew there was an improvement. Now they give you a nerve block, and my surgeon, before he sews you up, not only do you have the nerve block, but he gives a bunch of numbing agent, puts shots in before he closes you up to help with the pain post-operatively. So I didn't feel anything. It was tight, of course, but there were pain-wise, nothing. So walked out, got in the car, went home, and post-op, my insurance and the doctor, my surgeon, set up to have home therapy come to the house for 8 sessions. So the first week they would come 3 days, the second week they'd come 3 days, and the third week would be 2 days. So they showed up, because my surgery was on a Tuesday, they showed up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 3 days in a row, I had the therapist come to the house and put me through the exercises instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and kind of having a day in between. But, which was fine, because it gave me a jump start on getting my range of motion back. So the therapist came the first day and gave me about 3-4 exercises to do. I'm going to show you all the exercises at the end of the video. Those 3-4 exercises are what you're going to do, or at least what I did, for the first 3 weeks. That's all I did. I would do those exercises 3 times a day, 7 days a week. I didn't just do them when the therapist showed up and then just sat around and did nothing until they showed up again. You have to put in the work. It's gonna maybe hurt, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you've got to put in the effort, you've got to put in the time doing these exercises on your own. Now the nerve block, Whole first day, nothing. That day of the surgery, nothing. The second day, that Wednesday, nothing. Thursday morning about 2 a.m., I was trying to sleep in my bed. I had bought a 45-degree foam wedge, so I had my leg propped up, and it started setting in. The nerve block wore off, and my knee started to ache. And it got to the point where I had to get up and take a pain med, and then I went and sat with my leg elevated in the recliner where I could finally fall asleep somewhat. Your sleep is going to be messed up for weeks. I'm currently in week 6, and it's getting a little better, but I still cannot find a comfortable position where I go to sleep and sleep all the way through without waking up at least twice, minimum. So your sleep is going to be messed up. But once the nerve block wore off, I was expecting excruciating pain just because of what they have to do during the surgery. I had shoulder surgery before. I messed up my shoulder. They had to go in, open, not arthroscopic, and repair rotator cuff and all that. That surgery hurt 5 times more than this one did. I was expecting excruciating pain. Yes, there was pain, but it was bearable. I did not even use all of my pain meds. I still have some left. And I was using them only as needed. And after about a week, I really wasn't using them anymore outside of Tylenol and occasionally like the Tramadol that they gave. So I wasn't really using them. The pain, I was really surprised. The pain was not unbearable. Now, of course, this is my situation, my surgery, my surgeon. Everybody's experience is different. Also, everybody's pain level is different. So I'm giving you my my experience, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm just sharing what I did and what's helped me and what I went through. So hopefully you're on the same level and you're not going through a really tough time. But so for the first 3 weeks, those are the only exercises I would do. I used the walker, they gave me with the 4 wheels, or with the 4 legs, and having to put it out in front of me, lift it up, extend it out in front of me, sit it down. Every time I took a step, I was unconsciously favoring my knee and putting a lot of pressure on my right side. So I ended up messing up my shoulder, pinching a nerve, which gave me even more issues that I really didn't need for about 2.5 weeks. That finally went away. So that's a point. Make sure they give you a walker with the wheels in the front, not the one with the 4 legs. Because that way you can just tilt it up, slide it forward, and set it down. You don't got to lift nothing with your arms outstretched. So after the first week, I was doing the exercises, not too bad. I was at 90 degrees already, putting in the work. And then by my second week, my 2-week post-op follow-up, they removed the bandage, lost that stocking, which is a pain in the butt, lost the stocking, and I was at 90 degrees. When I went for my 2-week appointment, I had my cane in hand because when I was in public and around people, I didn't want to get bumped and knocked off balance. So I had my cane in hand, but I wasn't really relying on it. I went in and everything looked good, continued doing what I'm doing. I still had I had just finished my 8th and last home therapy session, and they scheduled an outpatient therapy session like 2 weeks later. So I went home and I just kept doing the same exercises. By week 3, I was still doing the exercises, but I had begun to get on my exercise bike out in the garage. And all I was doing was using it as a range of motion tool. I was putting my foot on the one pedal with the pedal all the way back on the heel instead of under the ball of the foot like normal, all the way back on the heel, and I was just rotating it with my good leg up and then back the other way, just trying to go as far as I could go to get range of motion. After about, 10-15 minutes of doing that, I was going backwards and it went all the way around one revolution. Went all the way around. I was ecstatic. And I just kept pedaling backwards. For some reason, might find that it's easier if you have a bike to start pedaling backwards first before you start going forwards. Your knee doesn't bend quite as much. So I would do that. After about 5 minutes of doing that, I started going forward and I was able to slowly pedal forwards, going through the whole range of motion. But that was with the pedal all the way under my heel. Then, once that became easier, I slid my foot back a little bit so the pedal was in the middle of my foot. And then same thing, rocked it back and forth till I got range of motion. And then once I was able to go backwards and then forwards, I slid a little bit further. Now I'm at a point now where I can pretty much, I'll put my foot in the pedal normally and rock back and forth about 3-4 times, and then I'm able to pedal forward just to get it loosened up like first thing in the morning, and then I'll be able to pedal forward. I started doing that the end of the 3rd week. So my 4th week, when I went for my 4-week follow-up, I went to the therapy session. I had already started doing light leg raises or light leg extensions. I have the workout stuff in my garage. I was doing leg extensions with only like 5 pounds. At first I was doing them with nothing, just on the machine, but no weight, and just the weight of the attachment. Then I graduated to 5 pounds, and these are not, I'm doing them for like high reps, 20 to 40 reps, depending on how my knee felt. So I'm slowly starting to strengthen. And then I was using resistance bands. Standing, I had the cuff that goes around the ankle, and I was just doing leg curls, standing leg curls. Again, very high reps, very low resistance. And I just kept working at it. So when I went to therapy, that first outpatient therapy session, I was at 129 degrees of flexion. My leg was straight, and I was already able, she checked the strength of my leg, everything was good. She put me on the leg press, did the single leg press, did the double leg press. She had me on a machine that pulled my leg back and made it flex as far as it would go, and I got to like 129, 130, and was able to hold it there. So once I was done, I was pretty much allowed to just continue my therapy on my own and continue doing what I'm doing at home. But still, whether it's on your own and you're doing it on your own at home and you're past the therapy session, or if you're doing it with the therapist, you've got to do your work at home by yourself. You've got to put in the time. So for the first 3 weeks, I was doing it 3 times a day. I would do the exercises, which took about an hour, would go through the exercises. Then I would shower, and then I would elevate my leg for 30 minutes on the wedge, 45-degree angle. And then after that, I would go ice my leg for 40 minutes to an hour. And then after that, I would get up, do whatever I was doing during the day. In between, whether I was sitting down or whether I was standing up, I would constantly be bending my leg. If I was sitting there, I would use one of those sliders that they use to move furniture. Buy one of, they're cheap. You can get them at the dollar store. Buy a set of sliders. If you have rug, put your foot on one of the sliders while you're sitting, your heel, and just bend your leg. Pull it back and forth, back and forth. That's all I did. And then I would bend it and use my good leg to push my foot back even further and get that maximum range, and just continue to move it. Because if you put in the work, you put in the effort, you're going to get the results. The other thing is, subconsciously in your mind, you're going to be thinking, I'm going to damage something. I don't know if I'm going to rip something. Because when you're pushing to try to get that stretch, it feels like something's going to rip. I mean, my tightness across the top of my knee, it's tight even now. And when I'm still getting gains, but every little quarter inch is a fight because it's tight and it feels like you're going to rip something. You're not going to damage anything as far as the implants unless you're like load. If you in the first 3 weeks, 6 weeks, go out and do heavy leg extensions, stuff like that, where you're putting a lot of force, you could end up possibly damaging the implants. But if you're doing low weight, or you're just pushing the range of motion and trying to push that stretch, or you're working on going up and down a step, you're not going to damage it. My surgeon, the therapist, said you're not going to damage it. So if you go too far and you push too hard, all you're going to end up doing is causing yourself more pain and discomfort, which you may have to back off. So I was pushing it hard for the first 3 weeks, religiously doing my exercises, morning, afternoon, and night, and I was pushing it. Every time I went to the maximum range of motion, I would take my good leg and try to get it just that extra 1/16 of an inch. I pushed and pushed. Now, I mean, I got good results so far, thank God, and now I can kind of back off a little bit. But now, as I'm adding more things like riding the bike, once I get into doing that, then I drop down to 2 sessions a week. But for the first 3 weeks, whatever the therapist gives you to do those exercises religiously. Constantly be moving. It's not like you're going to do the exercises just when you're at therapy or just a couple times when you're home and your knees magically going to go back. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen overnight. This is going to be a long journey of just chipping away at that stiffness, chipping away at that inflammation, and allowing it to heal. It's going to heal, but you're going to heal at your own rate. How quickly I heal, how quickly somebody else heals, no two people are the same. Your journey is going to be different than mine. Now, talking about healing, sleep has a lot to do with healing. Sleeping is an issue for, I think, everybody who has a total knee replacement. I still cannot find at 6 weeks a comfortable place to sleep. I feel comfortable, I might fall asleep, but I move, my leg moves, and I end up getting woken up because it's aching or it's hurting or something. So I end up having to get up and I either come to the couch and sit here with my leg propped up, or I go sit in a recliner. You just got to find what works for you. Pain meds, I don't even use them anymore. I use totally just like Tylenol. That's all I use. I don't want to use a sleep aid. I really don't like using those, so that's pretty much it. That's the first 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks, and I tell everybody, it's a full-time job. I did more work during the first 3 weeks sitting at home doing those exercises than I did working my 8-hour job. It's a full-time job because when I got up in the morning, an hour of doing the exercises, 30 minutes of elevation, another 40 minutes to an hour icing it, right there, that's 3-4 hours of your morning. Then you go do something else. By the time, in no time, it's time to do them again at 1 o'clock. And then again, you got a little break, do whatever you're doing around the house, then it's time to do them again. You don't want to do them too late in the evening because you don't want to be in pain when you're trying to go to bed. So I tried to do my afternoon session about 4 or 5, no later than 6 because I might stay up till 11. So I got 5 hours. But if you go to bed early, don't be doing it just before you go to bed because then you're going to end up having pain. My pain meds, like I said, I really didn't use them that much. If I took them at the end of the day to try to help me be able to sleep at night. So everybody, like I said, everybody's different. Talk to your physician, talk to your therapist. If you have issues with pain, ask questions. Now, one thing I had a question about recently is I must have been getting in or out of the car. I think I was getting in the car and I was bringing my foot in. My foot caught the door jamb and my foot stopped, but my knee went in. And this inner side of my knee right here, from the very beginning, as soon as I got out of surgery, it was already bruised and it was very tender to the touch. I don't know why. But then when I hit my foot on the door, so it set me back like a good chunk because I couldn't do the exercises. It hurt, it caused pain, it tightened up again. So I backed off, let it rest the last couple of days, and now it's pretty much back to normal where I'm able to get back to doing my exercises fully. So you got to be careful. It's not going to be a steady journey of improvement all the way till you're good again. You're going to be ups and downs. You might feel good, you might be doing really good, all of a sudden you turn the wrong way, or you do too much one day and it swells back up and now it's stiff again. It's more stiff than it was before. Your range of motion isn't as good because of the inflammation. Don't get depressed. This is a long journey with all the stuff they did and all that has to heal. It's going to take time. I'm already looking at 3 months, 90 days after surgery. I'm having this one done. So to me, I'm already looking at all of 2024 is going to be getting my legs back to normal by the end of the year so that I'm solid. But I'm looking down the road. I know this isn't going to happen overnight. So don't beat yourself up if you're not progressing as like you think you should, or you're not progressing like somebody else that may have had a surgery that you've talked to. Every single person's different. Your journey is your own. You might be doing really good, all of a sudden you turn the wrong way, or you do too much one day and it swells back up and now it's stiff again. It's more stiff than it was before. Your range of motion isn't as good because of the inflammation. Don't get depressed. This is a long journey with all the stuff they did and all that has to heal. It's going to take time. I'm already looking at 3 months, 90 days after surgery. I'm having this one done. So to me, I'm already looking at all of 2024 is going to be getting my legs back to normal by the end of the year so that I'm solid. But I'm looking down the road. I know this isn't going to happen overnight. So don't beat yourself up if you're not progressing as like you think you should, or you're not progressing like somebody else that may have had a surgery that you've talked to. Every single person's different. Your journey is your own. So that's it for this video. The first 3 weeks, total knee replacement surgery. If you got any questions of me at all, put them in the comments below. And after this video, after I finish talking here, you'll see the exercises and what my knee kind of looks like in that first 3 weeks. So, like I said, take your time. I wish you guys nothing but the best. God bless you guys. I wish you guys a speedy and full recovery. And if, like I said, if you got any questions, put them below. And I'll see you in the next video where I'll cover weeks 4 till wherever I'm at. Take care, God bless, and never quit.